Hello and welcome. My name is Andronikou, and this is my SpaceRacer game for 212 3D graphics programming. Okay, so when you start the game, you get a little console window here. It will just tell the user how to interact with the game, having several cameras and the arrow keys and spacebar to start the animation. So we'll go into the game. Straight away, if I press spacebar, the planets will start orbiting around the sun, just like the solar system. If I press the right key, ship will turn right, left, turn left, back, go back, forward, forward. The ring that you are currently on, the spaceship, that is the racetrack. This is made using a torus. I have also implemented speed, as you can see there, if I keep my finger on. Maximum speed is 0.2. Let my finger go, the spaceship will decelerate. Go down very slow. Same with going backwards. I've also got several cameras implemented in the game. The first being this third person one. If I press number 1, this is first person view. Number 2 is top down view, so you can see the whole solar system there. 3, let's navigate around a bit. It's from one side of the racetrack. Number 4 is the opposite side. Number 5 is just above the sun, as you can see at the bottom there. Just follows it around. And number 6 is in the corner of the skybox, just so you can see, have a good see of the solar system. If I keep pressing spacebar, the animation will actually go much faster, and all these planets are going at different rates, just like they would in real life. Okay, this was my game when I first started. As you can see, it's very basic, just some spheres for asteroids and cubes for the walls, which are stretched out. You can see there's no skybox or anything about. It looks quite basic. I actually decided to completely change and start over my map due to the new skills I learned when creating this game. I will now start talking about the technical side of the game. I will start with the skybox. Skybox is a method of creating backgrounds to make a game level look bigger than it really is. When a skybox is used, the level is enclosed within a cube. The way I did this is by creating a cube which is built up of vertexes. Each face would then contain a part of the skybox. As you can see by this image, this is how skyboxes look before being added. I then cut each square and saved it as its own image. It is important that I map each image to the correct place, otherwise the seamlessness of the skybox would not really look very nice. As you can see here, I had to work out the coordinates of each vertex to create it. I have used quite large values as 100 and scaled that up by 15 times. The reason I've done this is my game world is quite large, and having a large skybox makes it have depth of space. You can see some numbers 00, 01, 10 and 11 here. These are used to map the texture onto. We are basically saying have the first part start at the 00 bottom left of that vertex and make it fit into 11 the top right. The basic ranges go from 0 to 1, so 0.5 would be somewhere in the middle of that vertex. You can have higher than 1, and doing so would start to tile the image. So if I had 10, 0, it would create that image 10 times across the bottom of that vertex along here. Once I was happy with my skybox, I decided to make the map. We'll start outside to inwards. As you can see here, by the big box, this is me marking out the border of each vertex for the skybox, just so you can see it a bit clearly. Here are all the planets of the solar system, the Milky Way, and each of them has their own individual rotation. I didn't put every one of them on there because it might be a bit cluttering, but they all have their own rotation in anti-clockwise way and all move at different speeds so it looks more realistic. Then the ring just around the sun is the racetrack which the player will be racing on. Pretty hard to see, but I've pointed to it here, is where the player is. This is a full top-down view of my game. This is where they will start. The sun in the middle is actually a light source itself and projects light off it, which I will go into more detail about next. There are three kinds of light: ambient, diffuse and specular light. I have used all three within my game. First is ambient light. Ambient light is the light that enters a room and bounces multiple times around the room before lighting a particular object. Ambient light contribution depends on the light's ambient colour and the ambient material colour. That's the formula for that one. For diffuse light represents direct light hitting a surface. The diffuse contribution is dependent on the incident angle. For example, a light hitting a surface at 90-degree angle contributes more than hitting a light at the same surface at 5 degrees. The final one is specular light. Specular light is the white highlight reflection seen on smooth, shiny objects. Specular light is dependent on the direction of the light, the surface normal and the viewer's location. So I will show you how I've used this within my game. Straight away you got the sun, which is a light source itself, and you can see on the ship there's the specular light there, the little white spots, you can see it shining, and the ambient colour and diffuse, which all have their own materials on this ship. However, light is still cast on this planet. However, because it's a planet, it's not realistic if you have it being shiny. Also, if you go around the other side, you can see a shadow is being cast from this light source. The same works if I go around the track and you see the light actually moving depending how far I've turned. As you can see, each and every planet is animated. The way I made this a lot simpler for myself is having everything based off the origin 000, which is the sun. I then created two functions to animate the scene. First, I created three variables. The first is animated as an integer, set that to 1, so true. I also made another static int, so it couldn't be changed, animation period. This is the interval between frames. If I lower the value, the speed will actually increase. And the last one was a float of angle, which will be used for the rotation. First function was called increase angle. Increase angle basically increases the rotation by 0.1 per frame, and because there's 20 frames, it tends to do it quite fast. That's why there's a very low value. The next function I created was an animate one. This is to actually make things move. So first I check if animated is true, 1. If it is, then we call the increase angle function. Then it will rotate it by 0.1. Then we do glut post redisplay, which redraws the screen so it moves, so it looks like it's moved. We then call glut timer function, which is the timer. Then it takes into the animation period, so how fast it moves. Animate, so it recalls itself, so it is a recursive function, and 1, which is true for the increase in angle. Then as you can see, everything is rotating around the y-axis, which gives it the effect of it's rotating around the sun. This is my list of my references for my textures. I think my strengths are the sun, the texturing of that, also all the planets and how they rotate around nicely, looks good. Also my skybox looks really nice, I think, and also the lighting which comes from the source, which also casts shadows, and the ambient, specular and diffuse light all look good. My weaknesses are not adding a moving light source, which could have been done by rotating around also. Also didn't add a logo page or particle systems, so I could have had like 2 planets colliding and collision with that. That would have looked quite good. Thank you for listening.